Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a police officer unlawfully stopped a driver for showing him the finger and then continued to harass him just because his ego was hurt. On July 4th, 2023, a man was driving his car down a road in Commerce, Georgia, when he spotted a police patrol vehicle ahead of him. Due to his negative experience with the Commerce Police Department, the driver decided to express his displeasure by flipping off the officer as he drove past the patrol vehicle. Before we begin analyzing the footage from the officer's body cam and the driver's mobile phone, it's worth noting for context that the driver alleged that he was previously held in custody for over 2 years before proving his innocence to the jury. This may be the reason for his actions, but let's discuss the legality of this encounter before we come to a conclusion.
How you doing today, sir? I'm Corporal Emerson with the Commerce Police Department. You have your driver's license on you, please?
What you stopped me for?
All right, I stopped you because when you drove by me back there, you stuck your middle finger up the whole time you was driving by me. You think I didn't see you?
No, I didn't see you.
What was that for?
I mean, is it against the law?
Well, it is a form of aggressive driving. You know what the Georgia statute of aggressive driving is?
You can't be a complaining party in that.
I can't be a complaining party in aggressive driving? Where is that written in the
You want to
statutes?
get your
I am the supervisor, just to let you know. Do you not see the stripes on my shoulder?
No, I didn't see you. Didn't.
This is who you get. So,
Okay.
if you want to tell me what the statute is, go ahead and recite me what the statute is and tell me what the definition of. No, you don't need to. I'm asking you.
All I want to.
Okay.
See that right there?
You're driving a vehicle and you're distracted driving by doing that.
I was looking at the road. I can do this all day long, sir.
Okay.
As seen in the footage, Corporal Emerson of the Commerce Police Department decided to pull the driver over and immediately question him about the finger he displayed from the window. He basically stated that he witnessed the driver flip him off the entire time, and then claimed that his action was classified as aggressive driving, as per the Georgia state statutes. If we study Georgia Code Section 40-6-397, it states that a person commits the offense of aggressive driving when he or she operates any motor vehicle with the intent to annoy, harass, molest, intimidate, injure, or obstruct another person. It's then highlighted that any person convicted of aggressive driving shall be guilty of a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature. Now, it definitely goes without saying that regardless of where you are and what you are doing, showing another person the finger is an obscene gesture that could prompt a negative response from anybody. However, that certainly does not mean that it's illegal to do so. While this gesture could potentially be viewed as intending to harass or annoy, court rulings have found that simply displaying an obscene gesture like the middle finger is considered free speech protected by the First Amendment. The 2013 case of Swartz v. Sonia held that an obscene gesture alone, without additional disorderly conduct, is not a crime. The court ruled in favor of a man who had been arrested for giving the middle finger to a police officer, finding that the man's free speech rights were violated. So, for a driver to be charged with aggressive driving in Georgia for showing the middle finger, the driver's actions would likely have to go beyond that gesture to meet the intent to harass or endanger. For example, aggressively tailgating or cutting off another driver while making an obscene gesture. This was certainly not the case here.
So, if you want to tell me what did I do to deserve that kind of behavior? Okay, you do, technically.
I don't have to give you my ID because this is an unlawful stop.
It's not an unlawful stop.
100% unlawful stop. I can flip you off all day long.
Okay. All right. Why are you getting so mad? Like, what did I do to deserve that from you? Just tell me that. All of us deserve that?
Until I know different. Yep.
Like all of us as law
I was
enforcement?
kidnapped and held for ransom for 2.5 years by cops.
What did
until
did I
the
do
jury
that?
of my peers set me free.
Okay, so what did I do to deserve that?
Or not. I will do this all day long if I want to.
Okay, you're not going to do it while you're driving. I'm just telling you right now.
You want to write me a ticket for it?
I can. I don't want to, though.
I dare you to write me a ticket.
Look.
License, insurance, registration's on the back. Write me a ticket.
See, look at the language that you got right now. Like,
write me a ticket.
all right,
Write
so
me a ticket.
you changed the whole thing by calling me a. You cannot get out of the car.
Okay.
Don't get out of the car.
since we've already discussed how the driver did not violate any law, this traffic stop was indeed an unlawful one, even though Corporal Emerson believed otherwise. For detainment to be justified under the law, officers generally must have reasonable suspicion that the driver or someone in the vehicle is committing or has committed a crime. In other words, police generally can't just make a traffic stop because they have a hunch something is amiss. For a traffic stop to be legal, police normally need an objective reason to believe someone has broken the law, though a minor traffic violation is usually enough. In this case, no law was violated and no suspicion could be articulated. Another point worth noting is that Corporal Emerson had a significant issue with the driver's language. But once again, since the First Amendment explicitly highlights the freedom of speech, the driver had every right to express his opinions however he wanted to, regardless of whether someone was being offended or not. We see a similar conflict in the 1997 case of Sandel v. Larian, where the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit upheld the right to curse at police officers. The court ruled in favor of a man who was arrested for shouting profanities outside a courthouse in protest of police misconduct. He then sued the officer who arrested him for violating his First Amendment rights. Ultimately, the court affirmed that while the man's speech may have been offensive, it did not disrupt government functions and was therefore protected free speech. Judging by this, it becomes clear that the only conflict we have is within Corporal Emerson, whose ego appears to be hurt just because a member of the public exercised freedom of speech.
But now you're sitting here talking.
You can't be a complaining party in a disorderly conduct.
I can't be a
You
complaining
absolutely
party?
cannot. I can cuss all day in front of you. There's no kids around. There's nobody else. You cannot be a complaining party in the state of Georgia on a disorderly conduct.
Okay,
Go
nobody
check the
said
law.
anything about disorderly conduct.
Well, you said I changed the stop. Write me a ticket.
You did because now you're
me a
mad
ticket.
and you're calling me for no reason whatsoever.
You stopped me unlawfully. I can flip you off all day long.
Okay,
There it is again.
like I'm saying to you, like I'm trying to educate you if you give me an opportunity
You're the one
to do
who's
that.
Education, obviously, Sarge.
Okay, so all right, then let me know which part I need to educate on so that I can educate myself seriously.
Anybody can flip you off. This is 100% the First Amendment.
Okay.
As I will sit here and do it with my car running and driving past you as I did. I do it all the time. I do it to state troopers just to see if I'm going to be stupid enough to stop me for it.
Okay.
So there it is. Write me my ticket and let's get this stop over with. I'm home.
Okay,
I
all
got
right.
fries here.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back with you, okay?
Write my ticket.
Good Lord have mercy.
Flipped him off.
Okay.
And he stopped me because it's aggressive driving. I told him write me a ticket. He wasn't going to write me one, but I told him to write me a ticket. Here, you going to take these in? Let's go. You're on my time now. Not a very slimming angle.
While Corporal Emerson took a rather long time inside his patrol vehicle writing the driver a ticket, he also called for backup, which was arguably unnecessary. It appeared as if he sat inside his patrol vehicle intentionally prolonging the traffic stop so he could wait for backup to arrive. One could say that Corporal Emerson may have extended this traffic stop out of retaliation, as it usually doesn't take almost 10 minutes to issue a ticket for a single infraction. Also, in general, law enforcement officers in Georgia cannot arbitrarily extend a traffic stop simply to wait for backup without reasonable suspicion of further criminal activity. Plus, in the 2015 case of Rodriguez v. United States, the Supreme Court even ruled that officers cannot prolong a traffic stop beyond the time needed to complete the stop's purpose, which is usually ticketing or a reasonable investigation. Regardless, listen closely to what Corporal Emerson says to the responding officers. Note how he considers it crazy to defend one's constitutional rights.
Clear 217.
wanted somebody here when I issued him the citation. So I pulled him over because he was driving by, looking at me, flipping me off when he drove by. So I followed him around to the traffic stop, talking about aggressive driving harassment, completely blew up on me. Like talking about all his amendment rights and I'm doing unlawful stops, he ain't got to give me IDs, all this craziness. And I was like, look, man, I didn't do anything to you. I just wanted to know what's going on. He won't hear anything, flipping me off in my face, calling me a and all kinds of like that, writing my ticket, bitch, all kinds of things. You know? So I just wanted somebody here when I go to give it to him.